As you can see, we're loosening up this peony plant. I'm with Carol Adelman from Adelman's Peonies in Brooks. And we're going to learn how to dig up a peony and divide it. Look at all these roots. We already cut the foliage back. As you can see, we just have these stems, and just so you can see where you're going and you have something to hold on to when you're picking it up. You want to go out to the drip line. You can see how big this plant is. So the drip line is at the end of the leaf structure here. Carol, what do you think? Do we do a good job? Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Wow, that's a big one. So we're going to put it in this case here. And we're going to go and show exactly how you divide a peony then, right?
See how far the roots radiate out beyond the plant.
We want to try to get as much roots as possible, right?
Yes.
So for better success next year. Oh, wow, that is a big one. So this is a good time to do it, September, October?
Yes, That's when they like to be moved.
So we don't have to wait for the foliage to go completely down. You can just start it now.
That's correct.
And so we'll have a couple of plants for next year.
Yes.
Well, let's go over to that table and we can show how to divide it.
Sure.
Okay, Carol, what's next?
Well, this has been all washed up and ready for us to look at a little closer, so we'll cut the stems off. You can see that the growing eyes grew on the sides of last year's stems, and the growing eyes make the stems and the leaves and the flowers for next year, so it's real important to leave those on. And we'll just cut down right above the eyes. And we want to make some divisions to leave eyes on each root piece. This is the original root that we planted here. You can tell because it's darker in color. And so we're going to start with a knife, and we'll just go
right in between.
In between the stems and the eyes.
And you want to make sure you get some roots on it and eyes.
Yes, both.
And nice sharp knives, so you have nice sharp cuts. Wow, it's really thick. Ah, look at that.
There's the stem we missed, so there's a nice division there, and I cut that one a little much, so we'll take it off.
That's great.
There would be a nice division there. And you might trim the ends of the roots off a little better. It'll help it like its new home a little better, give it a reason to start growing in its new home, and there's a real nice division.
That's great. Look at all those points. So these are all going to be the new stems for next year,
Yes,
for the leaf stems.
Right.
Well, that's great. Now we can take a couple more out of this clump.
We can. Just be sure to leave some eyes on some root pieces, so you just need to look at the structure a little bit.
You're a strong woman here. Look at that.
And it looks like we got a root there growing in between some eyes, so we'll pull that out.
There we
And
go.
you can see why we went out a ways from the plant to dig, because these roots are long and they tend to radiate instead of going straight down.
So it's important to really go out to that drip line when you're digging and get as many roots and big roots as you can.
So we'll trim it up a little bit more here so it's ready to go in a hole.
Okay.
Take off these little side roots.
Well, now we're going to go over and show planting one, and we're going to go over to another bed, and we're going to take these with us. So let's go over there.
Okay.
So, Carol, we're going to teach us how to plant this peony, and you're an expert. How big should this hole be? What were we talking about?
Well, you saw how big the peony root was, so I recommend 2.5 foot across and about the depth of a shovel blade. And we're going to mix our fertilizer in there. About 1/8 of a cup for a brand new plant, up to 1/2 a cup for a mature plant. And we're just going to mix that in a little bit. We've got some nice friable garden fertilizer here. $100 hole for a $100 plant.
Definitely.
And then you'll be surprised to know we're going to fill the hole back in.
Oh, okay.
Because
That's
we live
different.
in western Oregon where we get a lot of rain, and we're going to place the root right at soil level.
Oh, okay.
And
then
we're
just
going to
cover
cover it
that?
up.
Well, that's really easy. So it doesn't have to be really deep, and it'll send its roots down in this nice soil.
And if you take the soil from around the edges, it has a nice place for the rainwater to drain. And cover the growing eyes up with about 2 inches of soil. And water it in well, and you're all set for the year.
That sounds really great, and it's really easy. So it's just like planting anything else, but it's just a little bit shallower for Western Oregon.
Yes, and you won't see anything come up until in the spring, and about March they'll start to emerge.
You have this wonderful catalog, and I know you could order this through the internet or get this in the mail, and there's lots of peonies in here to order and have beautiful flowers next year. Thank you so much for teaching us all this. It's a lot of information. I think people have great success at home.
Well, I hope everybody enjoys their peony.
Thank you so much.